The moon of our town. The mud of the trench was cold, a stark contrast to the pinprick heat of the stars above. Alex traced the constellations with his eyes, the same ones he'd known since childhood. Out here, under the vast, indifferent sky, they were his only constant. Each star was a memory, a promise whispered years ago that his parents, David and Eleanor, were still watching. He remembered his room, the scent of clean laundry, and the weight of his mother's hand on his forehead. He had been small then, and the world was only as big as his window. His mother, Eleanor, would sit with him as darkness fell, her presence a shield against the shadows. "When doctors like your father and I have to leave for a long, long time," she had told him, her voice a soft hum, "we don't really go away. We become stars, Alex. We find the brightest spot in the sky, and we burn there, watching over you always." In the doorway, his father, David, had stood listening, his smile a quiet confirmation. The memory shattered like glass. A flash of orange, a deafening roar, and the night sky was gone, replaced by smoke and chaos. The training took over. Alex was no longer a boy looking at stars, but a soldier moving through the fire, his team flanking him as they advanced. Another explosion, closer this time. The world spun violently and then went dark. There was a searing pain in his leg, a distant ringing in his ears. He was floating in a hazy, gray nothingness, the sounds of the battle fading into a dull, rhythmic pulse. Through the haze, a light began to glow. It wasn't the harsh light of an explosion, but a soft, warm radiance that grew until it took a familiar shape. It was his mother, Eleanor, not as a distant star, but here, kneeling in the dirt beside him, her form made of pure, gentle light. "You fought so hard to join us in the sky, my brave boy," she said, her voice echoing not in his ears, but in his soul. "But your destiny is not to be a single distant star. The world has enough of those." Her hand, made of starlight, rested on his cheek. It felt like the sun. "You are meant to be a moon, Alex. To stay. To reflect the light of courage and hope for others. To guide them through their own darkness. Shine for them. Shine brightly." And then the light faded. Years later, the sharp clang of a bell, not the roar of an explosion, marked the end of Alex's day. He stood before a classroom of teenagers, a sturdy cane resting against the desk beside him. The afternoon sun streamed through the windows, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. He spoke of history, of great figures and turning points, but between the lines, he taught other lessons. He taught of resilience, of finding purpose when all seems lost, of the quiet strength it takes to rebuild. A young student, her brow furrowed in thought, raised her hand. "But how do you keep going?" she asked. Walking home through the town square, he was no longer a soldier, but a fixture of the community. A nod from the baker, a wave from a former student he'd helped with a college application, a smile from a young mother pushing a stroller. He was a quiet, steady presence in their lives. That night, Alex sat by his window, a cup of tea warming his hands. He looked up at the sky, at the countless stars glittering like diamonds on black velvet, and there, hanging serene and bright, was the moon. He understood now. His parents were the beautiful, distant stars, but he was the moon, the light that had stayed to guide the way home.